everyone, and welcome to another video with the ToLiss Airbus A321. And today we're going to be doing something slightly different. Just for a bit of fun, we're going to fly some short hops around the southwest of the UK. There's an event going on at the moment with VATSIM where they've got Exeter, Cardiff, Newquay Airports all controlled. So I thought it'd be fun to see what we could do with the Airbus and do these little hops around, see if we could cram it all into these short flights. As you can see, we have this beautiful Star Wars livery. We are far too late for May the 4th, Star Wars Day, which I'm sure you heard plenty about. But I only just discovered it on the forum, and I thought I'd definitely give it a go. And it's absolutely brilliant. Really nice idea, especially the engines. Really cool. So I thought we'll give it a go. It's a TUI livery primarily, so we'll use the Tomjet call sign, and we're going to depart here from Exeter, fly ourselves over to Newquay, which is empty as far as I can tell, and then we'll fly from Newquay up to Cardiff. So we'll do some short legs. So let's get started. Exeter approach, Tomjet 725, Airbus A321 QNH1013, request departure clearance to Newquay.
Tomjet 725, correction, Exeter radar, good afternoon. It's information in Lima. The QNH is 1016. Stand by 1 moment.
Okay. You don't have to reply to a standby request. It's in the name. You just literally stand by and wait. If you reply, they may want to talk to someone else and you end up talking over them.
Tomjet 725, after departure, be right turn on track November, Quebec, Yankee. Climb flight level 60, squawk 3274.
After departure, right turn Newquay, climb maintain flight level 60, squawk 3274, QNH 1016, Tomjet 725.
Tomjet 725, read back correct, report release for push and start.
Wilco, Tomjet 725. Right, there we go, QNH 1016. I need to check that I've got my simulator set up right. And after departure, right turn to Newquay. So all these other points are irrelevant. What I'm going to do is just clear them out. I just want a discontinuity. There's no SID, so what I've got is literally just Exeter 08, then discontinuity, then Newquay, which I will, after departure, it will go straight ahead, and then I can do the turn to Newquay. Okay, right, let's go see what's going on with this simulator. Okay, so there we go. Lovely day down here, which is why I thought we'd do it. Why be outside if I could be on Flight Simulator and enjoy the nice weather in X-Plane. 20 degrees, yeah, they get nice weather down in the southwest, don't they? So, expecting to depart from runway 08. I've done my diff strip in here, so as you can see, we're going to meet Tomjet 725, alternate of Cardiff. Flight plan now is literally just Newquay and Exeter straight to the Newquay VOR and then into Newquay. Secondary is a copy of that. Radio navigator not tuned. In it B, we're light today, taking off at 64 tons. Performance means that we just flap one, a good flex, low speeds because we're so light. Something to note about this is that the fact that we've got no departure, but we have looked up the noise abatement. So if I go into our airport charts, we can see noise abatement for 08 climb, maximum rate compatible with safety to 1500 feet before turning. Well, luckily our default is that 1610. I know that's 1500 feet, so we'll do that. We'll accelerate and then we'll turn. That seems perfectly reasonable to meet the noise. What's he said then after departure? He wants us to make a right turn. So let's go to plan. And if I set it to the right page, it seems to just, it should show us starting. He wants us to do a right turn to November, Quebec, Yankee. Let's have a look. That doily that's left in from another one. So we're going to take off from 08 easterly and then make our right turn all the way around. So we'll do that using our own heading, so we'll leave that discontinuity in there. Climbing to flight level 60. I'll leave it on the QNH for now and we'll set standard when we get up there. Excellent. Okay, let's try and get our headspace organized so we are doing the right thing when we do push back. Let's get the airport charts. Okay, I think we're on stand 5 and we're going to take off onto runway 08, so we're going to go down Alpha, I suspect. Great. Okay, don't see any reason not to get going. We'll get rid of the ground power, get the passengers seatbelts on. I don't know what passengers will be coming with us on this flight, but I'm sure they're having fun. And, should I be really clever? Should I get the pushback going ready? Because it will certainly be out this way to go for 08. surely. Let's do that. I don't even know if a 321 would fit here. I know that Thompson do fly here with 737, so they must fit somewhere. There we
Ground
go.
to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
Ah, there we go. This is going to be much better. Start push
Ground
back.
to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Okay, let's get push and start. Tomjet 725 request push and start.
Tomjet 725, push and start is approved, face to the west.
Push shot approved to face west. Tomjet 725. Push shot approved. So let's get the beacon on. Thrust levers to idle. Everything's closed up. Good. Get that transponder onto transponder. And let's get that reset and going. Now that's not right. We shouldn't have open climb there. So what I'm going to do is turn off both flight directors and then turn them back on. Now that is odd. Why is it staying in open climb? It must not have any nav in the background, so it only can arm open climb. I haven't seen that before. It should really just draw a line out from 08, but it's just not.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Okay, there's the tow connecting. That's interesting. It's actually dropped out what we want to do. So I'm going to. I really don't know what mode is it in. It's still in takeoff mode, so it shouldn't be like this. Interesting. I have never seen this before. It's sequenced to the next waypoint, and I can't really see how I'm going to force it back because that should still be our departure airport. Try typing it in, but I highly doubt that's going to work. No. Okay, no matter.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
And off we go. Brakes are released.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Oh, he seems to be struggling. Is the brake definitely released? Yes, it is. Okay, let's get going. Engine number 2 starting. Start the timer. All going well, and that's running. Excellent.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Okay, brakes are set to park. He can go now.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
And let's check this all works. It's a good engine to start. Wait for the available message. There it is. Stop that. Norm. Don't need any of that. We're going for flap 1 takeoff. Trim is going to be 29.6. Yeah, it's very odd. I don't know why we got this situation, but there we go. 29.6. Okay, and then we'd wait for the ground crew to give us the wave. We really don't want to do anything until we're sure that that's done. It does take a little bit of time with better pushback.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Okay, very important we don't get distracted now. So I'll just move forward in my seat so I can definitely see him. I wonder where they'll go today. And expecting to taxi. This is Charlie becoming Alpha, so straight ahead basically, and that will take us all the way along. There's the hand signal and the wave. Great, so that's all good. We'd run our after start checklist. Without ignition, APU, ground spoilers, flaps, rudder, trim, APU master. Let's do the flight control check. Get it done now while we are sitting still. All good. Something you'll notice, depending on the Airbus, the roll check on these, you see all 4 spoilers come up, but actually that number, which number is that? That middle one doesn't raise fully. It just raises a little bit to show it is moving as a roll spoiler, but it's not actually used to the same extent in flight as the other ones. But anyway, minor details of the 321. To our rudder. It does tell us which number it is, but still, there we go. Right. That's done. So my FMAs I'm not entirely convinced about, but we'll see. I'm confident that we'll be able to take off. The FMGC is in the correct phase. I've got the takeoff phase ready to go. So maybe I cleared out the wrong point earlier. We shall see. Let's do the rest. That's done. We can do the eco memo, and we'll ding the cabin. I'll get the taxi lights on ready to taxi, and let's call our controller. Tomjet 725, request taxi.
Tomjet 725, taxi holding point, correction, taxi holding point Alpha 1, and change squawk now 0433.
Squawk 0433, taxi Alpha 1, Tomjet 725. Okay, not too uncommon, it does happen. It can happen in flight 0433, depending on what the controller wants us to do, so we'll just obey. Taxi to Alpha 1, if we look, we know that that's Alpha, and airport Alpha 1. Really important thing to learn to check is where is it compared to the turn. So it's actually before the turn. Lots of holding points are here, perpendicular to the runway, so it's important you don't get comfortable with that assumption. You need to make sure you are ready for it to be earlier. So there's Alpha 1. So we're not looking to turn towards the runway. We're just going to be straight ahead and then stop. Right, let's go. Brakes released. Does its usual wobble. I don't know what happens there. I think it's something to do with the pushback. So I've got my 1 FD2. It really should be climb, but it's open climb. There's no nav mode because of the fact it's completely lost it. So I'm expecting it to go straight into runway track, which will be absolutely fine. We've got our speeds, our V2 speeds, our stop of flight level 60 to become a flight level. We're going to set standard, which means the transition altitude must be lower today. So I'm going to do that to stop it flashing at us because he did say flight level 60. Good. Oh, the transition altitude down here must just be low all the time. The altitude won't change. The transition altitude, the level will. But yeah, that will be somewhere in the airport briefing. What else is there to do? I think we're ready to go. I'm just going to set the heading round onto something similar to 080 just so it doesn't do anything too silly. It might be useful for us. There you go. Now it says flight level 60. Now the real airplane doesn't show that. Well, I'm guessing some airplanes do, but the ones I've flown have not done that. So although I'm on QNH, it's showing me flight level 60 because that's above the transition altitude. However, like I say, the normal airplanes I've flown aren't that fancy. It would just say 6,000 until I set standard. It will, however, flash at the appropriate time to tell me that I need to transition over. And there's our windsock showing us a nice tailwind. Good scenery here as well with all these cars. I quite like that. Right, let's get ourselves rounds. So this is Alpha 2. Alpha 2 is clearly a low-vis holding point. It would normally say so. So it would say Cat 2, 3 next to it. And the line is different. So you've got these little double lines, which looks like a 2. So it's like Cat 2, Cat 3. That's a way to remember it. Whereas the Alpha 1 will be the Cat 1 holding point. And that's quite a common numbering system. They're not all like that, but it's quite common that it would be formatted that way. Let's see. This one should be slightly different. This will be the lines and the dashes, which it is. So we'll bring it to a stop here. Okay, excellent. And here we are.
Tomjet 725 via Alpha 1, runway 08, clear to takeoff, surface wind 120 degrees, 6 knots.
Via Alpha 1, clear for takeoff, runway 08, Tomjet 725, thank you. Okay, clear to line up. Let's get the rest of the lights on. Strobes on. Camera crew's dinged. And what we'll do is we'll say that our performance was PAX off takeoff. I don't normally do that. So there we go, PAX off. And that should be it. All the rest is ready to go. That should be on tier RA. This would have gone to on during the taxi. And then we did those. Max auto brake config. Excellent. As ever, let's enjoy the outside view, especially as we got this nice livery. I'm going to take the full length. I want every meter for my A321. We're very light today, so performance will be absolutely fine. It's a 2,000 meter runway. And as I said, they take 737s that take people off on charter holidays, so it must have a bit of spare room for that, because they'll be quite heavy. Oh, gone way too far there. Too busy chatting. See if we can save that. That's going to take a bit of thrust. Full lock on the tiller. There we go. Right, we're clear for takeoff. So let's go. Let's start the timer. Half side stick. 50% thrust.
Exeter.
Brakes released.
Hello, Bristol and Cardiff.
Man, Flex 41, SRS runway. Auto thrust is blue and armed. Up around.
Go ahead.
80 to 100. Wow, bumpy runway, look at that. V1, rotate. Positive climb, gear up. And there you go, it just defaults into runway track. That's what I would expect. Excellent. So we're going to do this to 1500 feet before turning. Autopilot 1. Good. So we're going to turn the packs on once we get back to thrust climb. So the idea is that whilst we're in the takeoff phase and we have our takeoff thrust, we can't use them because they would reduce that thrust. So here we go, flashing lever climb, open climb. There we go, thrust climb, open climb, auto thrust. We're accelerating. The flaps don't need to move just yet, but I can turn on the packs. And certainly I'd need to, or we'll get an ECAM. You turn on one, then you wait a few seconds before turning on the other one, about 10 seconds. The reason is it will slowly pressurize the cabin, and you can actually feel it with your ears in the real airplane when you press them. And if you did both at once, it would be a bit of a spike and it would hurt everybody's ears.
Radar code Golf Bravo Romeo Golf Juliet, Squawking 0401 with you.
Right, he said right to turn, so let's get that going.
Golf Bravo Romeo Golf Juliet, text the radar, good.
And pull heading.
It's a basic service. Basic service, thank you. Golf Bravo Romeo Golf Juliet. 725, climb now, flight level 120.
Down now, flight level 120, Tomjet 725.
And Golf Golf Juliet, this information.
120, set standard, that's in. Flaps to 0. And there we go. That's exactly what happens if you forget. You get pack 2 off. And you can see there, it's not feeding. It's not really a problem. We're going to turn it on. Certainly in real life, you would check that you haven't missed something else. You never just assume the caution is something that you've forgotten. You need to check it's not something that's failed. Anyway, they can go down. Actually, we'll leave the landing lights on for this one. These ones go off because we're going to be cruising around with all these other airplanes. Let's keep that right turn coming. Oh, not like that. So we're off to the west. I am very unfamiliar with where I'm going here. November, Quebec Yankee. So this is all best guess sort of stuff at the moment. Nav, November, Quebec Yankee. And I'm hoping we'll just get vectors from air traffic at the other end because I've been very lazy and got almost nothing set up. Let's have a look. EGHQ. And this is very naughty to be this low down. What's the weather there?
725 is deconfliction service outside control airspace.
Roger, Tomjet 725. Deconfliction service is quite normal in this sort of airspace. There's basically they're just going to tell us where and remove us from other traffic they're talking to or they can see, but they won't be able to provide the full control. This says QNH 1012, although my simulator's been messing up, so I'm going to have to let's see what I can do. QNH 1012, temperature 20. And wind is 100 at 12. With that, let's imagine we're going to land on runway 12. Do you estimate runway 12? Let's do the. What's the NDB onto 12 like? Is that going to be much good for us? Out over the sea. Yeah, we could do the procedural NDB, couldn't we? That could be quite fun. Let's do that. Which gives us a DA of 630. And I'm just going to fly it in final lap. Nice long runway, so I'm not worried about performance. So there's the flight plan. RadNav, we want the NDB tuned. It's based off of the 347, which is already in there. But just to make sure, let's display that. And what I am going to do is double check if I can get the QNH working. And there's 1,000 feet to go. Let's not do that. Let's get that speed back. Let's stay at 250 knots because this is going to be a very quick flight. Otherwise, we'll go for medium auto brake. What QNH did I have? QNH 1013. Okay, good. And now let's put this to the NDB. Oh, it's not loaded. Oh no, that's disappointing. So I'd have to do it very manually, which I am not going to do because I have not set that up in time. So let's just do the ILS runway 12 with no star. There we go. We'll close that. Minima if we're worried, which we're not really worried about, but it's going to be 510, 506 in there. Good, low MSA, 3,000 feet. There's a bit of terrain here, which we're going to come in over, and we're going to head out over the sea. So what we'll do is we'll try and do it procedurally. ILS 12 via, what are the options? Newquay 1? That looks good to me. And then maybe we'll change that to a visual. So this will be how we'd fly it procedurally, which is what this is for. It's for people who are sat in the hold, heading outbound and back in. We're a Cat C airplane, so out to 8 miles, which we can see there. Oh, it says Newquay 9, and then a right turn round back in onto the INEW with its co-located DME, course 122. Excellent. So what have we missed? Flight plan, radio nav aids, progress, EGHQ 12. Performance should be loaded in now. We've got the minima flat full landing.
Gov Juliet, report the airfield in sight. Fuko Gov Juliet.
Excellent, that's all done. And off we go. It's a lovely day here over the southwest, and I'm really impressed. This is just default X-plane scenery, but it really is quite good. Much better than I'm used to from FSX. Nice detail on the terrain mapping, so the ups and downs of the terrain, the topography, I guess that would be called. Yeah, very nice.
Tokyo 725 for Newquay radar, squawk 1733.
Squawk 1733, Tomjet 725. 1733. Oh yes, and we should change that to norm so that we can see other traffic. A recent development. Thanks to this channel, I've discovered that. Thank you all for your continuing feedback and information. It's always useful. There's so much to learn.
Gov Juliet, still in sight.
Maybe we'll request a visual,
Gov Juliet,
as it's going to be so quiet. So I'm going to draw my ring around EGHQ runway 12. And let's have a look. What distance should we go for? If we went for 5 miles at 2,000 feet, so a 5 mile radius, and I want to be 2,000 feet at that. So I'll be 2,000 feet flap 2, gear down at 5 miles. I'll aim to be slightly wide of that. So visual approach will take us around and in, out over the sea. Excellent. So that's a backup option. In real life, we'd have to check all the noise abatement, although I can't imagine there's much noise abatement over the sea here in Newquay. There we go. So that could be a nice option today. Let's see how prepared we are for it. Excellent.
Tokyo 725, contact Newquay radar now, frequency 133.4, bye-bye.
133.4, Tomjet 75. Thanks for your help, bye.
Thanks, bye-bye.
133.4. In that goes. And here's going to be embarrassing. Was there an ATIS? I'm always doing this in Flight Simulator. EGHQ ATIS, please don't have one. It does, 1274. Ah, should have done that already. 1274. I'm so used to just being able to print it out.
Aircraft type on first contact. Newquay information kilo. Time 1120. Automatic. Runway in use 12. Surface wind 100. 10 knots varying between 060. at 130 degrees. Visibility 10. Kilometers or more, no cloud detected. Temperature +2, 1. Dew point +7. QNH 1012. Acknowledge receipt of information, Kilo.
Excellent. Oh, I can impress them for once with my actual ATIS. Let's have a go. Newquay approach, good afternoon. Tomjet 725, flight level 120 to the November Quebec Yankee. Airbus A321 with Kilo.
Tomjet 725, Newquay radar, hello, identify deconfliction service.
Deconfliction service, thanks. Tomjet 725, and we're expecting a visual approach if that's available.
Tomjet 725, they firm sectors for a visual approach from a 12, then turn right, heading 275.
Right, heading 275, Tomjet 725. There we go.
Tomjet 725, descent flight level 50.
Descent flight level 50, Tomjet 725.
Turning 7 Hotel Tango, clear to land 12, winds 100 degrees, 10 knot.
Right, he said flight level 50. So let's put that in. That must be the transition here. It must be wrong in the database. And 50 we are going down to. How are we doing for distance? We need 30 something miles. Yeah, let's get down. So let's go thrust idle, open descent. And we're going down to 5,000, but it is actually a flight level. Let's lower that. It must be 40. There we go, flight level 50. We know there's no terrain around here. Let's clear up the flight plan because we're going to fly a visual. So let's just draw out an extended centre line. So we take the reciprocal of our track, which is always very difficult to do in your head at the last minute. 122. So it's going to be 302, which would be drawing a line. Yeah, 302. Radial in. We do that from the centre fix. No, we do it from the final fix because we may not go via the centre fix. So I don't want to have an unsequenced flight plan. There we go. Pull that. Excellent. That's all coming together. We'll leave the seatbelt signs on now. Passengers have missed their chance. After landing.
Yeah, no worries, that's fine.
Ooh, I wonder where they park.
Stand 20 for yourself.
Someone's parking on stand 20.
So the first one.
Yes, okay, here. These are really hard. I've been here in real life, and these are really tight stands to park on. Goodness knows how we're going to fit a 321 onto here. Maybe they do in real life. But yeah, they're quite strange, so it'd be quite fun to see how that works. Sounds like there's a bit of difficulty with the default X-plane scenery as well.
Cheers, mate, and thanks for the nice ADC and for the extra rounds of on to No worries, hope you got a glimpse of your house and see you again soon.
What we'll do is, let's have the LS push button up so we can just have that back up as guidance for ourselves. Okay, all looking good. Through 10,000 feet, we'd have done our check. Airplane's navigating, landing lights are on. We got our LS push button up for the ILS, which looks like it's tuning. As I said, we're not doing that. And you remember Whiskey Quebec. What have I done wrong here?
Tomjet 725, descent to altitude 3,000 feet, Newquay QNH 1012.
Sorry, could you say again the altitude for Tomjet 725?
75, descent to altitude 3,000 feet, QNH is 1012.
Descent to altitude 3,000 feet, QNH 1012, Tomjet 725, thank you. QNH 1012, 3,000 feet, that's in.
725, field's currently to your 10 o'clock range, 10 miles from Boyd site.
Field in sight, request visual approach, Tomjet 725.
Tomjet 725, roger, clear visual approach to your descent with your own direct clearance, now traffic service, and report final approach.
We'll code Tomjet 725, clear for the visual approach. Right.
I just confirm it's now a traffic service.
Traffic service, Tomjet 725. Okay, so that's it. We're on our own. 7,000 feet, 250 knots to beam the airfield. Getting a little bit high, so we are visual. I haven't solved this coding issue. You guys will probably have seen exactly what I did wrong. Approach, what have I done wrong? That's the NDBRS, NDB DME. I do not know. 11.1, that's the same charts. Anyway, we're not going to get distracted with that. It should be 1105, which it has tuned. It just seems to have a different ident. But there we go. So let's go activate approach phase. the airplane will start to decelerate. Let's wind in our scale. And I want to be here at 2,000 feet. So I'm going to go slightly wider on that because I think I'm a little bit high. Let's get some speed brakes out. And I'm going to aim for about a 6-mile final. We've got a nice headwind on approach as well, so a little bit of room there. The elevation of the airport is about 400 feet up, so that is, yeah, we don't want to be any closer to it than that. 400 feet. Oh, what have I done there? Gone into night mode. Good. And we'll cheat, as always, never look outside. There we go. With those speed brakes up. Okay, let's get flap 1. I think the speed brakes can come in now. Now, every time I've done this before, as you've seen, I've made a complete hash of it. So let's see how we can do. Autopilot off. Flight director's off. And the bird is on. So, important, we turned it off, so we check we're in speed mode. I'm just going to set this round onto 120 for the inbound. I don't need it particularly at the moment. And we just fly visually. So we know we're safe with terrain here, we're visual with the ground. And let's start bringing ourselves around. 5,000 feet, yeah, a little bit high. Let's get flap 2 out. You can see the flight plan sequence to the right place, so that's good. Once we've got flap 2 out, we'll get a lot of drag. So you can see that speed really reducing now. So if I put the nose down, we'll get some good descent rates out of the airplane now. So he needs us to report final, which we absolutely can do. And we'll just set the going altitude into the window. It'll be 2,500 feet.
Golf Uniform Foxtrot, I have the weather for Sillies when you're ready, if you need it. Yes, please.
2,000. Oh.
Golf Charlie Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, Roger. Weather for St Mary's at time 0.
So that's ready to go.
It's slightly outdated. The wind 050 degrees, 11 knots.
Bring ourselves around. If we decide that we're just too high, we'll just put the gear out.
09 and the QNH 1012.
So we're 7 miles out, 4,000 feet, gear down. Yeah, I think we're too high. Let's put the gear out. We can visually.
Golf Uniform Foxtrot, Roger. Report the field in sight and ready to leave the frequency. Okay, Golf Uniform.
See if we can manage this.
No, it should be London West, but I'm pretty sure they're probably not going to want to.
So 800 feet to lose, but we've got about another 1.5 miles to do it. So yeah, I think that's starting to come together.
No worries.
So we've gone quite wide now. We're going for a sort of looks like a 7-mile final. Not the most tight visual approach ever, but they're not designed to be just absolutely the slickest way of doing it. They are sometimes just a nice way to do it. And there's visual. Oh, that's bad. So we are going to go right through that centre line. I need to go to 25 degrees. That's what happens when you don't spend enough time looking out. You've got to keep your eyes out. Otherwise this happens. It's easy to get focused in on the glide slope. Let's go to flap 3. That'll be fine. We're still well within the realms of being stable. But that's a good lesson for us all. Simple headwind as well, so there's no excuse for going through that. Now we need to keep ourselves descending. We'll go to flap full. There's the radio altimeter alive over the water, so that confirms our QNH is correct. Let's get ourselves set up on final. Something like 3 degrees. There we go. Tomjet 725, final approach, runway 12.
Tomjet 725, tax, clear to land, runway 12, the wind's 11, correction 100 degrees, 10 knots.
Clear to land, runway 12, Tomjet 725. Okay, there we go. Stable, we gave ourselves nice, easy gates to make. Next is to just get the rest of the bits done. That goes there. Those are already on, they should have come on, and we will ding the cabin crew. He's cleared us to land. Excellent. And now it's a bit like a raw data RLS, although you've got the nice visual picture outside to confirm it. But really, it goes back to setting datum. So I know I need about 700, 800 feet per minute to maintain my glide slope. In fact, I'd say 700 would be more than enough today. So let's get that bird sitting on the 5 degree line. And we should see about 700 feet per minute. There we go. And then we've got the wings at about 700 feet per minute. Same with the localizer, although it's probably easier to look out the window to track the localizer than it is to use just that picture inside now. Everything else is set. I'm going to put my little marker that he did clear us to land. no idea where we're vacating. So I've gone for medium water brake, and then we'll talk about that on the runways. It seems quite quiet. So I can see 800 feet minute too much. We're getting low, so let's do that. And the inbound track is definitely not that. It must be 122. There we go. Yeah. As ever, I'm always amazed at how much extra work there is to do when there's just one of us. It shows how we do really need two pilots to fly these things around day in, day out at the moment, because there's still plenty that needs to be done, especially with the monitoring. Because I can get through everything, so I can set the buttons and so on, but there are times doing this where I'm setting buttons and I'm not monitoring the airplane at all, which in real life is just not acceptable. Someone's got to be watching what it's doing. Tiny bit high, but we were nicely stable at 1,000 feet. Oh, wow, I wouldn't want a terrain caution here. That looks like a glitch in the software to me. They code the terrain very carefully around airports to make sure that doesn't happen, so they monitor if there's any false alerts like that, because it'd be very harmful to the operation if you couldn't land somewhere because you kept getting a terrain caution spuriously if it wasn't a real one. Getting a little bit high.
We're check 090 degrees 10 knots now.
Idle reverse and rollouts. I'm assuming we're going to vacate to the left then by the looks of this.
Sorry, was that for Golf Uniform Foxtrot?
Okay, we'll go manual brakes.
Golf Uniform Foxtrot negatives, just for landing aircraft. Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, it was fast, although it's a little bit late. Wind checks like that are often given a...
725 box, Newquay vacate left Charlie, then left again on Alpha, stand 23.
Left Charlie, Alpha for stand 23. Time at 75, thank you. Let's have a look. Let me work that out. So that's going to be first left here, Charlie, and then Alpha. Okay. Yeah, on very windy days, you'd get call outs like that from air traffic control where they are trying to just advise you of whether the winds are still in limits and that sort of thing. So here we go. But they have the potential to be distracting, but it's usually done with the best intentions, and it's often very helpful. Air traffic controllers know when the conditions are difficult for us, so they're more likely to offer up help like that without you having to ask, and it reduces the workload for everyone. I'm a big fan of this livery, really nice. Obviously a Star Wars first, is that First Order or is that Empire logo? Someone will tell me. I should know that, that's very embarrassing. I think the red tends to be associated with the First Order, doesn't it? We can see some Jet 2 colleagues over there. I say colleagues, they're probably competitors if we're in a TUI Airbus. Let's get that speed under control. Get ourselves onto this taxiway and we can do the rest of the bits. Okay, right, so once you know what you're doing, that can go there, that can go there, that can go up. Get rid of the radar so we don't radiate people, get the APU up and running, get the landing lights, strobes to auto landing lights off. And that can go, put that back to NEVS. And he said stand 1-2. Sorry, he said, ignore me, stand 2-3. So we're pretty much the last one on the main apron. Hopefully we can find it. APU is coming online. Great stuff. There we are, yep, EXS. I'm assuming that is Chanex for Channel Express, which is how I believe they started out many years ago. Right, APU is available, excellent. We've got accumulated pressure. Let's get those brake fans on. I don't think they'd be that hot, especially on a light airplane like this. I think that's a little bit of an overreaction. And let's have a look. Stand 2-3, which is here. Yeah, it's the last one on the main apron. So you probably have two marshalers for something like this in real life. So I'm going to get my main gear right over the center line. Here we go. Let's see how we manage inside. Yeah, you'd have a marshal for something this tight. Effectively, we want the main wheel to sort of go on that yellow line. Sorry, the nose wheel. And there we go. Yeah, that seems to have worked. How we would get out of here? Well, I believe some of these are taxi off or maybe pushback stands. But that would be a very tight turn. Let's see. You can't be too far back like this or we're infringing that main taxiway. So this is where you would definitely need a marshaller to be able to judge that nose wheel. Because as you can see from the flight deck, we have this sort of picture. Good. Parking brake is set. Then we check APU is available. We don't want to shut down without it or it goes very dark. Turn off the engines. That can go off. And let passengers run around. Let the ground crew arrive. Excellent, and here we are. So welcome to Newquay. I hope that was a nice little flight with a little visual approach on the end. And we saw some of the pitfalls of doing visuals without proper preparation. But there we go. And next we'll be flying from here, a short flight up to Cardiff, who also has a controller with them today. That video will come out soon. So for now, thank you very much for watching. See you in a video soon.